Okay, first things first, a huge congratulations. Seriously, if you're watching this, it means you've done something amazing, and we're here to walk you through that very last step of your journey. So, you got that acceptance letter. You've probably celebrated a lot. And now, there's just one last thing standing between that dream and your actual reality on a U.S. campus, and that's the F-1 student visa. Now, I know it can seem kind of intimidating, but trust me, we're about to give you the complete blueprint to master it. So, let's dive right in.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with what the F-1 visa really is. Then we'll break down the 3 core things you absolutely have to prove. After that, we'll build out your master document checklist, go through the application step by step, and finally, the main event. We'll talk all about mastering that visa interview and, just as important, how to avoid the common mistakes that trip people up.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1. So what exactly is this visa anyway?
So on paper, it's pretty simple. It's a non-immigrant visa for international students who are going to an approved U.S. institution. But here's the thing, and this is really important. You shouldn't think of it as just a ticket to get into the country. The F-1 visa is a status, and that status unlocks some seriously powerful benefits for your time in the U.S., both in school and for your career.
And this is where the F-1 visa really becomes a game changer, a true career launchpad. For starters, you can work on campus up to 20 hours a week while you study. But then, after you graduate, you can get a full year, 12 months, of full-time work authorization. That's through a program called Optional Practical Training, or OPT. And get this, if you're in a STEM field, you can extend that for another 24 months. That's a grand total of 3 years of real-world U.S. work experience. Pretty amazing, right?
Okay, so you're probably thinking, how do I get one? Well, the U.S. government looks at every single applicant through the lens of 3 fundamental pillars. If you can nail these 3 things, you are well on your way to getting that approval.
And I mean everything. Every single document you submit, every answer you give in that interview, it all boils down to proving these 3 simple things.
All right, pillar number 1 is academic intent. And you know what? The good news is you've pretty much already done all the heavy lifting for this one. Just by getting accepted into an SVP certified school, which is just a fancy way of saying a school the government has approved to host international students, you've already proven you're a real, legitimate student. That acceptance letter and your I-20 form, that's your golden ticket right there. Okay, on to pillar number 2, financial capability. And heads up, this is where things get really intense. You have to prove, with cold, hard documents, that you have enough liquid cash to pay for your entire first year of expenses. We're talking tuition, housing, books, everything. So this means you need bank statements, official education loan documents, stuff like that. They need to see that the money is there and it's ready to go, no questions asked. And that brings us to pillar number 3. And honestly, this is the most important and the most misunderstood part of the whole process. It's called non-immigrant intent. Here's the deal. Under U.S. law, the visa officer has to start with the assumption that you're trying to immigrate permanently. It's kind of like you're presumed to be an immigrant until you prove otherwise. So the entire burden of proof is on you to show that you have strong ties, things like family, property, or a solid career plan that will pull you back to your home country after you finish your studies. So, you ask, how on earth do I prove all this stuff? Well, the answer is with a perfectly organized file of documents. Think of it as building your case. Let's put together your master checklist right now. Okay, let's start with the absolute non-negotiables. These are the documents you cannot, under any circumstances, forget. Think of this list as your ticket to even get in the door for the interview. We're talking your valid passport, your signed I-20 form from your school, the DS-160 confirmation page, and all your fee receipts. Seriously, without every single one of these, you won't even get to speak to the consular officer. And remember pillar 2, financial capability? Well, here's how you prove it. This is your evidence file. You're going to need recent bank statements, usually for the last 6 months. Official loan sanction letters, any scholarship award letters you've received, basically anything and everything that proves you have that money accessible right now.
All right, once you've got all your documents in order, the application process itself is actually pretty straightforward. It's just a sequence of steps. Let's walk through that blueprint. So, step 1, you get your Form I-20 from your university. That's the key document. You'll use the ID number on that I-20 to pay the SEVIS fee, which is basically for the student tracking system. Step 3, you have to carefully, and I mean carefully, fill out the main online application, the DS-160 form. After that's done, you can pay the visa application fee itself, and that unlocks your ability to schedule your appointments.
You'll have two of them, a really quick one for your fingerprints and photo, and then, of course, the main event, the consular interview.
And that brings us to the big one, the interview. Now, here's a huge tip. This interview is not about the officer just rechecking your paperwork. Chances are they've already reviewed your file. This whole conversation is designed to assess one single thing, your credibility. Are you who you say you are?
And I can almost guarantee you are going to be asked this question. It seems so simple, but it's a direct test of that first pillar we talked about, your academic intent.
And this right here perfectly shows the difference between a great answer and a terrible one. The weak answer, oh, it's a famous university. Sounds like you just picked a name out of a hat. It sounds like you just want a ticket to the US. But the strong answer, naming a professor, talking about specific research, mentioning a lab, that proves you're a serious, dedicated student who's actually done their homework. That is what credibility sounds like.
And then comes the million-dollar question. This one is aimed squarely at pillar number 3, proving your non-immigrant intent. Listen up because this is so critical. Even though we all know that OPT is a huge benefit of the F-1 visa, you cannot talk about it in the interview. Your answer must focus on your plan to go back home. Do not, I repeat, do not say you hope to get a job and stay in the U.S. The right answer, the only right answer, is one that connects your shiny new U.S. degree directly to a specific job or career plan back in your home country. That is how you prove you intend to return.
All right, look, knowing what you should do is half the battle, but knowing what you absolutely should not do, that's the other half. So let's quickly run through the most common red flags that lead to a denial. First, don't give memorized robotic answers. Be natural. Second, don't try to show property deeds when they ask for liquid funds. They want to see cash in the bank. Third, don't apply to some unranked, sketchy-looking university just to get a visa. They see right through that. And, like we just hammered home, you must have a clear career path back home. But that last point on the list, that's the most important one of all. Okay, I need you to listen very carefully. I have to be crystal clear about this. Never, ever submit a fraudulent document. Not a fake bank statement, not a forged letter, nothing. This isn't just a rejection where you can try again next year. If you get caught, this is a permanent, for the rest of your life ban from ever entering the United States. It is absolutely not worth the risk. Period. Look, I know this whole process seems rigorous, but it is 100% manageable. You've already done the hardest part. You got into a great U.S. university. This is just the final, definitive step. So prepare with confidence, answer every question with honesty, and get ready to start this incredible new chapter of your life. Really, the only question left is, are you ready?